For the longest while, I've really wanted to see The Living Dead at Manchester Morgue. Now, it took a friend to actually buy it and send it to me to force me to watch it. There's a wonderful transfer and release in the States, which I haven't been able to get my hands on, but I did manage to finally sit down and watch The Living Dead at Manchester Morgue. And I really knew very little about this movie, but I was really captivated straight away to find that it was almost set in the countryside, as we followed two characters. We've got Edna and we've got George, who literally bump into each other on our journey someplace, quite literally, as Edna reverses over George's motorbike. And rather than have a kind of playful connection or that, it's really more of an antagonistic connection that they have. George is really just bullish and boorish and belittling this woman for running over his bike, and just kind of like demands that she drives him someplace and that he will actually drive the car. And on their way there, they kind of get lost. They're looking for a place. He stops off at a farm to discover a rather interesting conceit. There is this strange technology being tested out in a farm that's going to eradicate all the insects and bugs from a farm using radiation waves and things like that. So we don't have a radiation spill, we've got radiation waves that are going to reanimate the dead, bring them back to life and cause utter chaos. And I just kind of like the fact that they put a reason into these things. You know, a lot of times you get the zombie movies and they just come alive for the sake of it. This one, they actually go out of their way to create this environmentalist message throughout the movie, even though it's a little bit heavy-handed. I didn't mind. It just gives it something behind to cause what's happening on. And not only does it cause it, but the George catches on to what's causing this problem. And pretty soon we find these guys in the middle of a murder case as a zombie has killed someone, and these two people are now the prime suspects being investigated by the cop, the inspector, who is one of those really annoying characters who just won't listen. You can understand why you won't listen, because people are talking about The Walking Dead, but you feel like he's a character who's made up his mind early on, and there is literally nothing that will do to shake that perspective for him. There's some wonderful zombie attack sequences where the zombies feel a little bit more threatening and deadly than other movies. They're using things, they have a little bit of smarts, they're trying to break into a building to get them. They're using instruments to try and get in there. They just feel a little bit more deadly. It doesn't feel quite like regular Living Dead, but more akin to zombies mixed with the zombies of 28 Days Later. You know, they have that kind of rage in amongst them where they want to kill and then devour. It's not just a food sustenance, or that's my opinion from the first watch anyway. And it's a movie that just builds up fantastically well as we start to see these people kind of panicking, trying to stop what's happening, realising how widespread this is going to get, and again trying to stop it. And I really did like George and Edna together. I thought they were quite good. Ray Lovelock plays George, and I kind of like that character, even though he's played as not likeable at the start of the movie. He really comes into his own as he gets to that panic later on. In fact, one of the most surprising elements of the movie was the ending for me, where it took a kind of bleak and dark turn, which I wasn't 100% on board with, but then it leaves us with a little stinger that really cheered me up and happy with The Living Dead at Manchester Morgue. I thought the film looked wonderful. A lot of those rolling countrysides was a really interesting idea and setting for a zombie movie. You know, you don't see many that's in the countryside, in small towns, with these rolling green hills behind them. The limited Living Dead, and the reason is why they were there, was solid. I really appreciated that. I like that there's a little bit of smarts put into this one. I had a great deal of fun with The Living Dead at Manchester Morgue. I thought this was a really wonderful zombie movie, really expertly directed, acted. I loved the setting and the idea and the story behind it, and I even loved that kind of nihilistic ending that we get within this one. I'm definitely going to be picking this one up on that fancy Blu-ray transfer at some point. And yeah, I'd love to know what you think of The Living Dead at Manchester Morgue. First time watch for me, can't wait to watch it a second time. Let me know what you think of the film in the comment box below. I'll see you next time on Man v Film.